Hi, good morning, James.
Morning,
No
Bobby.
worries. My last one, I got caught getting a drink of water exact same time too.
I appreciate. I appreciate. Designer, television host, and best-selling author Bobby Berk, who helps collectors turn chaos into dream spaces that honor their prized possessions. A brand new HGTV series called Junk or Jackpot. And I've got Bobby Berk here, and I appreciate the fact that he let me have a swallow from my water bottle so we can get started. Oh, Bobby, I got to see this one episode where the guy had I mean, the partner was either going to leave or you got to get rid of this stuff. And he had a lot of stuff from Disney and all kinds of, and I
Uh-huh.
love the pinball machines. I thought those were cool.
They were, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to buy one. Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, so that was our first episode with Patrick and Roger, and Roger had actually moved out. He moved out about a week before we started filming because there was literally there was no space for him. Patrick's collection and literally and figuratively speaking, emotionally, physically, everything, there was no space for him. And so he had kind of given Patrick an ultimatum. He's like, I'm moving out. I'm going to give you time to deal with this with Bobby. And if you don't deal with this the right way, I may never be moving back in. Luckily, spoiler alert, Roger has moved back in, which is amazing. So to be able to come in and help people kind of get their lives back in order, and help people to get something that used to be a source of so much joy for them, their collection, and now is become a source of anxiety or emotional pain and suffering in almost every episode's case. It was great for me because I didn't just want to do a renovation show where I just come in and I renovate somebody's house, I make it pretty. Those are great, don't get me wrong, we love those. But I wanted to do something that really emotionally had effect on their lives, not just that moment, but for years and years to come.
It was interesting. You talked about stress and being emotional, and of course, the show is called Junk or Jackpot. When I look at that first episode, you said a key word in there that was absolutely true, which is hoarder. How often do you meet a lot of people like that, Junk or Jackpot?
Ooh, I tried not to say that word, but I guess one slipped out. Um, luckily most of our collectors were not quite at the hoarding point yet. Very close.
Mhm.
Very close. And I think they all realized that, which is why they agreed to be a part of the show. They knew they were on a teetering point where there was a point of no return. And again, something that used to bring them so much joy was a source of stress and anxiety. So yeah, I try not to use that word because I don't think that I am properly trained and licensed to use those type of words. But yeah, there was some borderline hoarding going on.
All I can say, Bobby, is the way you transformed his apartment, his condo, that it was amazing. It was unbelievable. I was like, I could live there. Talk about that, man, because your finished product was amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, so walking into that space, as you remember, it was completely filled with all of his Disney memorabilia, with his pinball machines, with Christmas stuff, with a life-size Santa. I mean, nobody needs a creepy life-size Santa in their house year, or even Christmas for that matter, in my opinion. But it really was a space that wasn't lived in anymore. It was just, I don't even know how to put it, but yeah, there wasn't a space to live. There wasn't a space for them to share. So to turn that into a space that not only made the collection more usable because you could now see the collection. You could now enjoy the collection. All those pieces that they have collected over the years, you could see and enjoy because there was no longer, you could see the trees of the forest now. But to turn and what I loved about Patrick's is I was able, there's that special little marionette closet that we did. There was the It's a Small World shelf that we built. I was really able to incorporate his love for Disney and those pieces into the design, which makes it special and different from other design shows because we're incorporating something unique that a lot of people don't have, into a design and making it something really special.
Where does this talent come from, Bobby?
I don't know. I got it from my mama, maybe. I don't know.
about your background a little bit because you really took that and flipped the script on that completely.
Well, I mean, I grew up in Missouri, down by Springfield, so not too far from you. I grew up in a farm in the middle of nowhere, so yeah, I don't really know where the design bug came from, but I just remember as a small age, I remember as a child, my mom had decorated my room in all red, like red curtains, red bedspread, little boys, red fire trucks. But I just felt like that wasn't it. Like this is giving me, I didn't know what the word anxiety meant, but I was like, this is just this, I don't like the feeling I have looking at all this red. So, I did what every little 5-year-old boy, 6-year-old boy does in Missouri. He uses his birthday money to buy home decor. I think that's what every little boy does, right? And I bought blue curtains and blue bedspread just because I knew that blue just made me feel better. Again, I couldn't articulate why. I didn't understand that. I just knew when I looked at that, I was like, this is it. So I think I've always had this deep understanding about the correlation between mental health and design. And when you're surrounded by chaos, you're going to have chaos in your mind. You're going to have anxiety. You're going to have stress. Even if you're surrounded by all these objects that you thought brought you happiness, if there's too many of them, that happiness becomes anxiety and stress. So this show was not about making people get rid of the things they loved. This show was about making people figure out what meant the most to them and letting go of the things that weren't adding to that. They were taking away from it because they were, like you were saying, getting borderline hoarding.
I was speaking with designer, television host, and best-selling author Bobby Berk. He's the new host of HGTV series Junk or Jackpot. I like the idea that he talked about chaos. So that means in another 3 years, Bobby is running for president. Yay, Bobby. All right. Bobby,
I will run on a platform of no chaos.
Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you, James. Have a great day.
You too.